Chapter 1: The Crimson Dust of Hwange. The town of Hwange sprawled beneath the relentless Zimbabwean sun, a patchwork of red earth and faded rooftops stitched together by dusty roads that wound like capillaries through the landscape. It was a place caught between the pull of the modern world and the ancient rhythms of the wild, where diesel fumes mingled with the sweet, resinous scent of mopane trees, their butterfly-shaped leaves trembling in the dry breeze. The horizon shimmered with heat, a mirage of endless possibility or endless desolation, depending on who you asked. Beyond the town's fringes, the land stretched wide and untamed, rolling into the vast expanse of Hwange National Park, a sanctuary of raw beauty and primal danger. The game reserve was a world unto itself, a tapestry of golden savanna pierced by the gnarled silhouettes of baobab trees, their bulbous trunks rising like ancient sentinels from the earth. Acacias dotted the plains, their thorned branches swaying gently, while thickets of tamboti and teak clustered near the waterholes, their glossy leaves a deep green against the ochre soil. In the early mornings, mist clung to the ground, weaving through the grasses where impala grazed, their slender legs poised for flight. Elephants roamed in silent herds, their wrinkled hides dusted with crimson dirt, trumpeting low calls that rolled across the distance like thunder. Beneath the canopy of a marula tree, a leopard might linger, its spotted coat a dappled shadow, eyes glinting with predatory patience. Overhead, the sky was a fierce, unending blue, broken only by the lazy spiral of a martial eagle or the sudden flash of a lilac-breasted roller's iridescent wings. This was a land of extremes, patched and cracked in the dry season, lush and defiant after the rains, where life and death danced in a cycle as old as the granite copies that jutted from the plains. The air carried the musk of buffalo, the sharp tongue of termite mounds, and the faint, metallic hint of blood when a kill was fresh. It was a place that demanded respect, a wilderness that whispered both promise and peril. In the heart of Hwange town, Detective Inspector Tinashe Moyo stood on the sagging veranda of the police station, a weathered building of peeling whitewash and rusted corrugated iron. He was a tall man, broad-shouldered and lean, with skin the color of burnt amber and eyes that held a quiet intensity, as if they'd seen too much yet refused to look away. At 38, his face bore the faint lines of a life spent chasing shadows, both criminal and personal, while his close-cropped hair was flecked with premature gray. He wore a khaki shirt, sleeves rolled to the elbows, and trousers frayed at the hems, a practical uniform for a man who preferred the field to the desk. In his hand, he clutched a chipped mug of tea, the steam curling upward as he stared out toward the reserve, where the day's first light gilded the treetops. "Boss, you'll wear a hole in that floor if you keep pacing like that," came a voice from behind him. Sergeant Rudo leaned against the doorframe, arms crossed, her sharp features softened by a teasing grin. She was younger than Tinashe, wiry and quick, with a knack for cutting through nonsense and a laugh that could disarm even the surliest suspect. Her uniform was crisp despite the heat, a testament to her stubborn pride in the job. "Only if the termites don't get it first," Tinashe replied dryly, nodding at the warped planks beneath his boots. He took a sip of tea, grimacing as it scalded his tongue. "Where's Farai?" "Out back, fiddling with that radio again," Rudo said, rolling her eyes. "Says he's picking up signals from poachers. Or aliens. Depends on the hour." Farai Ndlovu, the station's tech-savvy constable, was a lanky figure with a perpetual hunch, as if the weight of his own curiosity bent him forward. He had a boyish enthusiasm that clashed with the grim realities of their work, but his knack for electronics had saved them more than once. Tinashe trusted him, even if his theories veered into the absurd. The station was a small operation, just the three of them plus a rotating cast of junior officers, serving a town that balanced on the edge of the wild. Hwange's residents were a mix of hardy souls, miners from the nearby colliery, traders hawking wares at the market, and rangers who lived half their lives in the bush. Tinashe's reverie was broken by the crackle of the radio inside. Farai's voice burst through, urgent and clipped. "Boss, you there? Ranger station just called. They've got a body out in the reserve near Ngamopan." "Sounds bad." Tinashe set his mug down, the tea sloshing over the rim. "How bad?" "Murder bad," Farai said. "They are waiting for you." Rudo was already grabbing her cap, her grin replaced by a steely focus. Tinashe felt the familiar tightening in his chest, the pulse of adrenaline that came with the case. Murder in Hwange was rare, poaching and petty theft were the usual fare, but the reserve was a law unto itself, a place where human greed often clashed with nature's indifference. "Get the truck," he told Rudo, then turned to shout through the open door. "Farai, you are with us. Move." Minutes later, they were rattling down the dirt road toward the park, dust billowing behind the battered Land Rover. The landscape unfolded around them, stark and breathtaking, the air thick with the scent of dry grass and distant rain. Tinashe gripped the wheel, his mind racing. A murder in the reserve meant complications, jurisdiction disputes, spooked tourists, and the ever-present threat of armed poachers. He glanced at Rudo, who was checking her sidearm, and Farai, who clutched a handheld radio like a lifeline. They reached Ngamopan as the sun climbed higher, painting the shallow waterhole in shades of amber and gold. A ranger stood waiting, his face grim beneath a wide-brimmed hat. He pointed toward a cluster of acacias, where vultures wheeled lazily overhead. "Over there," he said, voice low. "It's a mess." Tinashe strode forward, his boots crunching on the dry earth. The smell hit him fast, coppery and sharp, before he saw the body. A man, mid-40s, sprawled face down in the dirt, his ranger uniform torn and bloodied. A machete wound gaped across his back, deep and brutal, the work of someone with strength and intent. Flies buzzed in a frenzied cloud, and a single hyena lurked at the edge of the clearing, its eyes glinting with hunger. "Christ," Rudo muttered, covering her nose. Tinashe crouched beside the corpse, his gaze sweeping the scene. Footprints crisscrossed the dirt, too many to count, and a broken rifle lay a few meters away. But something else caught his eye, a glint of metal half buried in the soil. He reached for it, brushing away the dust, and froze. It was a badge, not a ranger's, but one he recognized, the insignia of a private security firm known for guarding VIPs. Before he could process it, Farai's radio crackled again, the ranger station's voice cutting through static. "Inspector, we've got movement, 2 kilometers north. Armed group, heading your way. Get out now." Tinashe straightened, his pulse hammering. The hyena slunk closer, and in the distance, a low rumble grew, vengeance. He locked eyes with Rudo and Farai, the unspoken question hanging between them, fight or flee.